All right, hey Jackie. I'm just gonna interview you on maybe three questions,
Okay.
and the first question is, do you think that people with disabilities should have the right to have children?
I think that depending on what the disability is, I think that they should have the right to bear children, um, especially if they have assistance. If they don't have assistance, it may make it a little difficult.
Okay, and what about the rights for them to have a job like everybody else?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
I think that they should be employed and should be able to make their own money and not have to be expected to be helped by the federal government, especially if some of them can actually work. If you have somebody that's partially blind, that's a form of disability. If you have an individual that may experience a little bit of retardation, I think that they still should be able to hold a job. Currently, where I work for the federal government, and at my particular agency, we have a whole lot of individuals on staff that have a disability. So, by all means, yes, they should be able to work.
Okay, and last question is, should they have the right to bear arms and have a weapon like everybody else?
I would have to say no. Only because I am not quite sure if they would be able to
Handle?
protect themselves in the proper way. So I would definitely say no.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jackie, for your time.
You're quite welcome.
All right. Okay, man. So I'm just gonna ask you a couple of questions on rights for people with disabilities.
Okay.
Um, do you believe that people, let's say it's a mental condition that they have, do you think that they should have the right to have children the same way other people can have children?
I think it depends on the extent of their disability and if they are mentally capable of handling a child, an infant, a toddler. Yeah, I think that they should be given that opportunity if they can show that they are able to care for a child.
Okay, and as far as having a job, like working at McDonald's or places like that, do you think they should be able to work too?
Absolutely, I do. As long as they're able to, communicate with their supervisor or manager, I fully think that they should be able to obtain employment.
And do you think it's mainly the physical condition that worries you or mental condition that worries you?
Mostly the mental condition, so that it's not stressful on the person with a disability or the people that are trying to help them.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time, man.
You're welcome.
Travis, right? No, Brad. All right. Who's Travis? Oh, the black guy. All right. All right, Brad. What is your opinion on people with disabilities having the rights to have children?
I believe that everyone, disabled or not, should have a right to have children if they so choose. Basically, yeah, I just believe that anybody should have the right to choose whatever they want to choose, and that's pretty much how I feel.
And what about as far as them having the rights to have like jobs and stuff?
Well, it all depends on how severe the mental or physical disability is. As far as that goes, it's like if they're like incapacitated to the point where they can't even do anything, then they shouldn't be working. But if they can, hold conversation and be able to actually do what they're supposed to, then yeah, I believe they should be able to work.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right.
All right, Ms. Mason. What is your opinion as far as rights for people with disabilities to have children, to get married and have children?
Well, here's my opinion. I think people with disabilities are people too, and they should have the same rights as others. I think there are situations that you'd have to consider if they don't have the capacity of managing their own house And I would imagine that would been stated somewhere along the line, but they are people too, so they should have full rights wherever, whenever applicable.
Yeah, even as far as having a job.
Oh, absolutely. There are people with special needs that are currently working, and absolutely, they should have a right to earn a living and become productive citizens and engage in employment as well.
Well, what are some cases where you feel they should not be able to have a job or have children?
Well, I guess if the state or, if it's been medically documented somewhere that they don't have the mental or physical capacity.
Right.
Because they're physically unable. But they're even in a situation like that. I mean, there are people who maybe can't walk but can still pass out flyers or sit in a store, as you see in Walmart, in their wheelchair, and they still are able to work. I guess it would depend on what their medical situation is and if the doctor doesn't deem it appropriate. But they should have full opportunity to work, have children, get married, just as any other human being, unless it's documented otherwise. I don't think we should make that decision. I think the medical professionals should make that decision.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, Holden. So should people with disabilities have the right to have children?
Yes.
And should they have the right to have a job like everybody else?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Kylie. What is your opinion on the rights that people with disabilities should have? For example, do you think that people with disabilities should have the right to have children just like everyone else?
Yeah, I don't see why they can't. I mean, if they're able to function in their everyday life and they're not in a home, if they're, disabled so much that they can't function regularly, I don't see why they can't be the same as everybody else.
So you would say no if it were to a point where they can't function properly?
I would think that if they're in a home because they have to have special care, that I don't think that, no. That if they can't take care of themselves, how are they able to take care of somebody else? But if they're functioning in the everyday world and they don't have to have special care, I don't see why they can't have their own children.
So what about as far as having a job?
Absolutely. Why not?
Okay.
Again, if they're not in a special home where they need special care and they're not able to function in everyday America, then, if they're out and walking around, what's the difference? They can do what they want. They can have babies. They can have their own job. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Everybody should be treated equal.
All right. Thank you, Kylie.
Okay.